What's a Bitcoin exchange? Is
Hmm.
that like do I go there and is there like drapes and stuff? Is it an open air market?
Yeah,
Is
is it
it
like one of those like buy nothing team swaps or whatever,
do I have to go meet a dude in like the back of a Walmart parking lot and like exchange some stuff?
Are you like, hey, I actually got roosters when I thought I had chickens. Who wants the roosters for my chickens?
Luckily, not anymore. Some of those things maybe used to be true, but today you just kind of go online and go ahead and exchange.
Get you some Bitcoin.
Yeah, your
That's it.
cash for Bitcoin. So today we're going to be covering that in this episode of Sat Chats Short Stacks. Welcome to the show. I'll be your host, Chris, founder, CEO of Ithaca Hummus and resident smash buyer.
Yeah, I like that welcoming energy. I'll be your co-host, Stewart, Bitcoin Maxi. So what is a Bitcoin exchange? And I actually heard, we spoke to River at the Bitcoin conference this year, and they actually call themselves a brokerage. So I wonder if the term exchange is even now being kind of polished up into a term that's going to be easier for the mainstream population to understand, where you basically go to these exchanges to get some Bitcoin. And I think a lot of people are going to be thinking about it in terms of like buying a stock or a bond, like a brokerage. But an even more powerful way to think about these are exchanges.
Yeah.
And why do you think I'm saying that?
Well, because when you're exchanging your thing for someone else's thing, it implies that you're taking custody of the of what you're exchanging. A broker feels like a transactional relationship. Same thing as an exchange, but you know, do I get to keep the Bitcoin after that? Or is the broker holding it, or where's the Bitcoin go actually?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah.
I was also coming at it from the perspective of a brokerage, whether it's real estate or like a Charles Schwab stock bond thing, you would be approaching Bitcoin as an investment.
Yeah.
And that's okay. It's fine. That's where a lot of us start. Okay. But the most powerful way to think about Bitcoin is as a form of money.
Yeah.
And when you use the term exchange, it's like going to South Africa, and exchanging your US dollars for rands.
Rands, yes.
Right?
Yeah.
Or going to Europe and exchanging your US dollar for euros. When you think about Bitcoin as money, that's the most powerful way, because people come and they say, okay, I'm going to invest my US dollar into this asset called Bitcoin. And they completely lose another angle, which is, no, I'm exchanging easy money for hard money.
So that makes sense. So when I think about a broker, I'm thinking about like going and making an investment somewhere. Mm-hmm. When I think about an exchange, I'm thinking about that little stand at the airport.
Yes.
Where it's like, here's my dollars, give me the currency of the country that I'm traveling to. I'm exchanging currency for currency.
Yes.
I'm not exchanging currency for an investment.
Right.
It's currency for currency.
Correct.
And a Bitcoin exchange is simply a way to do that online. Because guess what? There's no. It's not like here's a stack of paper for your stack of paper. It's give me the dollars out of your online bank account for this digital asset, for this digital currency.
Correct. So a Bitcoin exchange is like an online airport kiosk.
Yeah.
Where you've landed in Japan and now you need the yen, but you have your US dollars.
Yep.
So you swap them out. Now, you could think of this as exchanging your easy money for hard money. You could think of this as exchanging your physical money for digital money. Or the way I think about it is I'm exchanging today's money for tomorrow's money. I'm exchanging the money of the present for the money of the future.
Yeah, that's great.
Right? Money from the 20th century for money from the 21st century.
Right, I'm going to go ahead and pre-buy that now.
Yes.
While it's on sale.
So, and also when you exchange money, you're doing it to have money that works where you are. right? And the money that works everywhere around the globe all the time, permission free, is Bitcoin. And the money that works in the future of this planet is Bitcoin. And the money that works intergalactically across planets and systems is also Bitcoin. It ain't the dollar.
No.
So you know, that's a big old tangent that we want to go on to try to reinforce to every brand new Satillionaire here in the Bitcoin Welcome Center that you must think of Bitcoin as money. Otherwise, you're losing the biggest point that we're trying to make. Now, how can you go get yourself some of this money? You go to a Bitcoin exchange.
What's your favorite one?
Okay. Well, the one that I've used two.
Okay.
The first was Coinbase. My very first purchase with Dad's allowance for $45 was on Coinbase. And then my very next purchase was Bitcoin Well. And the only exchange I've used since then for the past year is Bitcoin Well. I am interested in River because you can put your money there in an FDIC insured account and earn interest on it daily in the form of sats while you're, waiting to buy Bitcoin. Like if you're going to smash it on a dip, or if you're going to dollar cost average over into it, you're making sats on them. So I'm thinking about it, but Bitcoin Well is the one I've used. Now, how does an exchange work? Just like the airport kiosk. You go to it, you hand them your money, they hand you some Bitcoin in exchange.
Yeah.
It really is not scary.
Yeah.
Okay. It's as easy as going to Bitcoin Well, for example, putting in, creating an account, get your username, get your password. You need to go through some regulatory and identification rich hoops.
Right.
Because
it's called KYC, know your customer. You can look it up. It's not scary.
It's a pain.
It's a pain, but it's basically like when you first get your new phone.
Yeah.
And you want to interface with your phone using biometrics.
Yeah.
Like, oh, it's my face, unlock. It's kind of the same thing. You kind of got to give it some of that, and you enter some information just like you would if you were opening a bank account.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you go from there.
Uh-huh.
One thing to point out. So we call this right here, 105,820 today, the exchange rate of Bitcoin.
Correct.
Because that's what it is. It's not how valuable is Bitcoin today. It's how many US dollars in this case would I need to exchange for one Bitcoin.
Correct.
It's the exchange rate. Okay, so if I'm sitting at home and I'm a Satillionaire, I'm a Bitcoin beginner, I'm a skeptic, right? So I'm like, okay, these exchanges, like, how do they make money?
Okay.
How much of my money are they getting? And can I find the cheapest rate, the best exchange to keep the most value for myself?
Yeah.
Let's quickly kind of walk through that as the last piece and then wrap up.
I gotcha. So here's how the exchanges work. Exactly like the exchanges in the real world work.
Yeah.
They buy for a little bit less and they sell for a little bit more. That's it, right? So the easiest way to think about this is if I go to Bitcoin Well and I say, I have one Bitcoin that I want to sell to you, and the price is 105,000.
The exchange rate,
excuse me, is 105,000. They're going to pay me 99% of that rate, right? They're going to take 1% off and buy it from me for that. And then you go to Bitcoin Well and say, I want a whole Bitcoin, and the price is 105. They'll sell it to you for 101%. So let's say it's 100K. That's easier. They would buy it from me for 99,000. They would sell it to you for 101,000, and now they've made $2,000. Okay,
yeah.
And that spread is how they generate capital to continue operating. Okay, nothing shady, nothing irresponsible. It's perfectly okay to do what they're doing because they're acting as a conduit for these exchanges that we're trying to make.
Yes.
Right. And it's all out in public. Bitcoin Well, for example, publicly traded, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You don't have to do like some of our guests, number 54, Adrian, I think it was, had to like try to buy it from a guy who had Bitcoin on a USB key inside a white van in an alley.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
You just go online and it's all good. So let's summarize real quick.
Yeah.
What is a Bitcoin exchange? It's a place where you can change out your money for Bitcoin. Okay. And it is not scary. You can choose one that makes sense to you. Coinbase is ultra popular. It's certainly the biggest player in the field. We like Bitcoin well. I'm also investigating River. You can do your own research, but maybe try it just a little bit. Try to buy $50 worth of Bitcoin off an exchange this month.
Yeah.
And keep watching this show.
Do it wherever it's easiest for you. If that's Venmo, if it's Cash App, if it's Coinbase, just buy a little bit.
A little.
See how that feels. We're big advocates of like you don't need to take a giant leap into Bitcoin.
Yeah.
You just have to take a little step.
Yeah, because after you take a little step, you'll take another little step, and then soon enough, you'll just yeet yourself.
That's how this works. One step at a time, one day at a time. It's an incremental process. Don't work yourself up about it.
Yeah.
Don't scare yourself out of the opportunity. Just start with a little bit. Thanks for joining us on another episode of Sat Chat's Short Stack. And remember
to subscribe for your chance at 10 million sats.
10 million sats.
And then also remember,
Sat Chats is for educational purposes only and should not be construed for financial advice. See you tomorrow.